If you've been following the puzzle pieces, we covered a lot of ground. We talked about how the workplace divides us, how the economy squeezes us, and how the system bleeds the relationships we actually care about dry. And you might be sitting there thinking, why is some guy on the internet talking about all this? I'm not a consultant nor an HR rep. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. All I'm offering is a perspective, a light pointed at the thing we already feel but haven't had words for yet. Because if you are exhausted, you're not crazy, and you're definitely not alone. But here's what most people miss. The system didn't start working on you when you clocked in for your first job. No, it started a long time before that. Let me tell you about a farmer. This farmer had a mule, a very strong animal, could pull a loaded wagon up a muddy hill without breaking stride. But when the farmer needed the mule to stay put, he didn't chain it. He didn't build a fence. He just drove a small wooden stake into the ground and tied the rope to it. Now, at any time that mule wanted to walk away, it could have. One good pull and the stake comes right out. The mule was stronger than the stake from the day it was born. But here's the thing. When that mule was young, they tied it to the same stake. And the young mule pulled and pulled and couldn't break free. So eventually, it stopped trying. It learned that the stake was the limit, and it carried that belief for the rest of its life, long after it had more than enough strength to prove it wrong. From a very early age, sitting in neat little rows in public school, sitting quietly in church, all the way up through the workplace, we are handed the same lesson over and over again. Be quiet, stay in line, don't make waves. You are small, and the institution is large, and that's just how things are. They drove that stake into the ground when you were young enough to believe it. And most of us are still standing next to it. Look at what that conditioning has done to us at work. We are the ones on the front lines. We see the broken process. We know where the waste is, where the time goes, where the real problems are, because our hands are the ones actually in it. These companies cannot produce mass quantities or make a profitable business without us. And yet, instead of our experience being valued, we are told to keep our heads down, wear the mask, and hit the metric. The people making decisions about your work have often never done your work, but you've been conditioned to accept that as normal because of that stake. And because we've been taught to feel small, we fall into their traps trying to compensate for it. We overachieve, giving blood and sweat to a company that won't remember it by the next quarter. We overthink, chasing a perfection that keeps the goalposts moving, so we actually never arrive. And the worst one, comparison. We look around and ask, why can't we be like so-and-so? We use that jealousy to explain away our exhaustion and the time we never seem to have. But what happened to just being authentic? No two people are the same, not one. And yet, we drain our own batteries every single day trying to fit into the mold someone else drew up. That's not motivation. That's a leash with a different name. And then the system doesn't even have the decency to leave us alone when we finally clock out. You've noticed it. More and more calls on your personal number from people and companies that you never gave the number to. Constantly pushing a product, a service, an agenda into your quiet time, your solitude, your 10 minutes of actual peace. They don't just want your labor anymore. They want your attention. All of it. Every waking moment. Because attention is the new currency. And they want you broke. You know, I've always lived by a simple rule. The more something persists, the more I resist. If I want something, I'll go get it. Stop trying to aggressively sell me my own life back to me. That is exactly why I started this channel, to be a voice for the person who is too worn down to see the trap they're standing in. To take what we all feel at a gut level and drag it up into the light, where we can actually look at it. You don't have to stay small. You never were actually small. That was just the stake talking. If you're ready to stop fitting yourself into someone else's mold and start building something that's actually yours, like and subscribe for more content. We have a lot of work to do. Life. Just live it.